The lights go out. Not for an hour, not for a day, but for weeks. The grocery stores are empty. The supply chains have collapsed. No trucks are coming. No deliveries are being made. And suddenly, that garden you always thought about starting becomes the difference between eating and starving. But here's the problem. You don't have land. You don't have a backyard. You live in an apartment, a small house, or maybe you're in a city where soil is scarce and space is limited. So what do? You adapt. You learn to grow food indoors using hydroponics, a method that requires no soil, uses less water, grows faster, and can feed you even when the world outside has gone dark. If you're serious about survival, if you understand that food security is the foundation of everything, then subscribe now, because what you're about to learn could save your life when traditional farming is no longer an option. Maybe you're already feeling it. Grocery prices have soared over the past year, and outages and shortages pop up with alarming regularity. It isn't just paranoia anymore, it's statistical reality. And history shows that in times of instability, food freedom is the first thing to vanish. If there's one lesson to draw from recent disasters, blackouts, hurricanes, wars, and even simple transport strikes, it's that people who act early can sidestep hunger. Every time society wobbles, homegrown food becomes priceless. Right now, as you listen, someone is realizing too late that their pantry is empty. Don't let that be you. Hydroponics isn't some futuristic fantasy. It's a proven practical system that's been used by preppers, off-grid communities, and even NASA to grow food in controlled environments. The concept is simple. Plants don't need soil to survive. They need nutrients, water, light, and oxygen. Hydroponics delivers all of that directly to the roots in a controlled, efficient way. In a crisis, when you can't rely on outdoor gardens that are vulnerable to weather, pests, looters, or contamination, an indoor hydroponic system becomes your lifeline. It's quiet, it's discreet, and it's incredibly productive. You can grow fresh vegetables, herbs, and even fruits in your basement, garage, closet, or spare room. And the best part? You can start small, with basic materials, and scale up as you learn. Let's talk about why hydroponics works so well for survival situations. First, it uses up to 90% less water than traditional soil gardening. In a world where clean water might be rationed or scarce, that efficiency matters. The water in a hydroponic system is recirculated, meaning the plants take what they need and the rest stays in the reservoir to be used again. Second, plants grow faster in hydroponics, sometimes 2 to 3 times faster than in soil. That's because their roots have direct access to nutrients and oxygen, so they don't have to work as hard to find food. In a crisis, time is everything. The faster you can grow food, the faster you can eat. Third, hydroponic systems are compact and stackable. You can grow vertically, maximizing space in small areas. A single shelf unit in your living room can produce more food than a traditional garden bed outside. Now let's address the biggest misconception. People think hydroponics is complicated, expensive, or requires advanced equipment. That's not true. Yes, there are high-tech systems with pumps, timers, and sensors, and those are great if you have the budget and the power supply. But you can also build a functional hydroponic system with basic materials you probably already have, or can find cheaply. A plastic storage bin, some PVC pipe, net pots, growing medium, and nutrient solution. That's it. You don't need electricity if you use a passive system like the Kratky method, which relies on the water level naturally dropping as the plants consume it. This method is perfect for off-grid scenarios or power outages because it requires 0 pumps, 0 timers, and 0 maintenance once it's set up. So how do you get started, really started, on indoor hydroponics? Strip away the jargon. You're simply creating an artificial environment where plants always have what they need. There's no magic, and some early failures are just learning steps. A lettuce that wilts, a root that browns, a tomato that drops blossoms. That's how mastery is built. Your very first system can be as humble as a few repurposed food-grade containers. Salvage what you can. Old buckets, plastic bottles, even washed yogurt tubs become planters. Drill holes for drainage and root aeration if you're building DWC, or even a rudimentary drip system. If you want to upgrade, A storage tote and a trip to the hardware store for net pots and growing media is all it takes for a medium multi-plant setup. The key? Don't wait for the perfect time, the perfect equipment, or the perfect conditions. Just begin. Let's break down the core components of any hydroponic system so you understand what you're working with. First, you need a reservoir. This holds your nutrient solution. It can be a bucket, a plastic tote, or even a large jar depending on the size of your setup. Second, you need a way to support your plants. This is usually done with net pots, which are small plastic containers with holes that allow roots to grow through and reach the water below. Third, you need a growing medium. This isn't soil, it's an inert material like perlite, vermiculite, coconut coir, or clay pellets that holds the plant in place and helps wick moisture to the roots. Fourth, you need nutrients. Plants need nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, calcium, magnesium, and trace elements to grow. In soil, these come from organic matter and minerals. In hydroponics, you add them directly to the water using a liquid or powdered nutrient solution. Finally, you need light. If you're growing indoors, natural sunlight from a window might not be enough. That's where grow lights come in, LED panels that mimic the spectrum of the sun and provide the energy plants need to photosynthesize. Let's talk about the easiest system to start with, the Kratky method. This is a passive, non-circulating system that requires no electricity and minimal setup. Here's how it works. You fill a container with nutrient solution, leaving an air gap at the top. You place your plant in a net pot with growing medium, and the roots hang down into the water. As the plant grows, it drinks the water, and the water level drops. The air gap that forms provides oxygen to the roots, which is critical for healthy growth. The beauty of this system is that once you set it up, you don't touch it. The plant regulates itself. You only need to check the water level occasionally and refill if necessary. This method works best for leafy greens like lettuce, spinach, kale, and herbs like basil and cilantro. These are fast-growing, nutrient-dense crops that thrive in hydroponic environments and provide immediate food value. Another simple system is deep water culture, or DWC. This is similar to Kratky, but instead of a static water level, you use an air pump and air stone to constantly oxygenate the nutrient solution. The roots sit in the water, and the bubbles keep them from suffocating. This system is slightly more advanced because it requires electricity to run the pump, but it's incredibly effective for growing larger plants like tomatoes, peppers, and cucumbers. If you have a reliable power source or a backup like solar panels or a generator, DWC is worth considering because it produces fast, aggressive growth and high yields. Many people ask, can this really feed you in a crisis or is it just a hobby? Here's the truth. For immediate calories, hydroponics excels at producing greens, herbs, and certain fast-fruiting plants, especially when you cycle crops. Think of it as a fresh food supplement, vitamins, minerals, enzymes, everything that keeps your body resilient and your mind sharp. If you combine your indoor greens with shelf-stable staples like beans, rice, or preserved fish, you have a flexible, nourishing diet. Consider the NASA approach. Hydroponics was chosen after rigorous research for astronaut nutrition. That's not marketing hype, that's proven science under real, no-backup conditions. Some of the world's most food-insecure nations have quietly adopted hydroponics. There are rooftop farms in Cairo that use less than 1/10 the usual water and provide fresh greens daily to families surrounded by desert. In Japan, after the 2011 Fukushima disaster, hydroponics helped communities avoid contaminated soil and regain food freedom. In the United States, urban food deserts are being slowly transformed by innovative vertical farms, proof positive that this isn't science fiction but survival engineering tuned for today's crises. Now let's talk about what to grow. In a survival scenario, your priority is calorie-dense, nutrient-rich foods that grow quickly and produce consistently. Leafy greens are your foundation. Lettuce, spinach, arugula, bok choy, and Swiss chard all grow incredibly fast in hydroponics. Some varieties are ready to harvest in as little as 3 to 4 weeks. They're packed with vitamins, minerals, and fiber, and they regenerate if you harvest the outer leaves and leave the center intact. Herbs are next. Basil, cilantro, parsley, mint, and oregano grow aggressively in hydroponic systems and add flavor and medicinal value to your diet. Many herbs also have antimicrobial and anti-inflammatory properties, making them valuable beyond just food. Then you have fruiting plants like tomatoes, peppers, and strawberries. These take longer to mature, usually 8 to 12 weeks, but they produce continuously once they start fruiting. A single tomato plant can give you pounds of food over several months if cared for properly. If you want to maximize calories, consider microgreens. These are young seedlings of vegetables and herbs that are harvested just a week or two after sprouting. They're incredibly nutrient-dense. Some studies show they contain up to 40 times more vitamins than their mature counterparts. You can grow them in shallow trays with minimal setup, and they're ready to eat in 7 to 14 days. Sunflower shoots, pea shoots, radish greens, and broccoli sprouts are all excellent choices. They don't require deep roots or complex systems, making them ideal for beginners or those with very limited space. Let's address nutrients because this is where many beginners make mistakes. Plants need a balanced diet, and in hydroponics, you're the one providing it. Pre-mixed hydroponic nutrient solutions are available commercially and are designed to provide everything plants need in the right ratios. These come in liquid or powder form, and you mix them with water according to the instructions. For most leafy greens and herbs, a basic 2-part nutrient solution works fine, one for vegetative growth and one for flowering and fruiting. The key is to monitor the pH of your water. Plants absorb nutrients best when the pH is between 5.5 and 6.5. If your water is too acidic or too alkaline, the nutrients lock out and your plants starve even though the food is right there. You can buy a simple pH test kit and pH adjusters for a few dollars. Check your solution once a week and adjust as needed. Now, thinking like a prepper, what if your supplies run out? Nutrient solution can be mixed at home from basic agricultural fertilizers if you know the right ratios. Potassium nitrate, calcium nitrate, Epsom salts. These are shelf-stable, widely available as agricultural or even gardening supplies. Research and print out DIY recipes for hydroponic nutrients and keep hard copies. In a long emergency, digital guides may not be accessible. The more you know, the harder you are to starve out. Let's get technical for a minute, because these details matter when the margin for error shrinks. Lighting. Even a simple shop LED fixture can be enough for basic greens if it's full spectrum and close to the canopy. If you don't have money for special grow lights, don't dismiss ordinary LEDs or fluorescent tubes. The intensity and consistency matter more than the label. If blackout curtains or window panels are available, use them to reflect and hold in every photon during your lighting hours. It maximizes output and, equally important, keeps your operations discreet. Visible light escaping windows at midnight can attract the wrong kind of attention in dangerous times. Lighting is the next critical factor. If you're growing indoors without access to strong natural light, you need to invest in grow lights. LED grow lights are the most efficient and cost-effective option. They use less electricity than traditional bulbs, produce less heat, and last for years. For a small setup growing leafy greens, a basic LED panel with full spectrum light is enough. Full spectrum means it includes both blue light for vegetative growth and red light for flowering and fruiting. Most plants need about 12 to 16 hours of light per day. You can use a simple timer to automate this. If you're in a grid-down situation and power is limited, prioritize your lights for your food-producing plants and use natural light for less critical crops. Oxygenation is equally crucial. Roots drown quickly without air, which is why stagnant water must be strictly avoided. That's the genius of Kratky, nature's own method of balance as the water drops and roots find their own air gap. But even if you upgrade to bubble stones, you can use aquarium or pond pumps, cheap, robust, and easy to replace. For solar backup, many small air pumps use USB battery packs or off-grid panels, and it's wise to keep a few in reserve. Have you tested your system in a simulated blackout, running on minimal power? If not, now is the time. A lesson from seasoned survivalists. Redundancy saves lives. Always have a non-powered method ready. Even a simple wick system, a cotton rope drawing moisture up from a lower bucket into your plant pots, can keep things alive when all else fails. Temperature and humidity also matter. Most hydroponic plants thrive in temperatures between 65 and 75 degrees Fahrenheit. Too hot, and the plants stress and wilt. Too cold, and growth slows or stops. If you're growing in a basement or garage, you might need a small heater or fan to regulate temperature. Humidity should be moderate, around 50 to 70%. Too much humidity encourages mold and disease. Too little, and plants lose water faster than they can absorb it. A simple hygrometer can help you monitor this, and a small dehumidifier or humidifier can adjust as needed. Water management is a survival topic unto itself. Tap water, rainwater, dehumidifier water. Each comes with pros and cons. Always check for heavy metals, chlorine, pathogens, and pH drift. City tap water may have fluoride and chloramine, while rainwater can pick up roof residue. A basic home water filter, or even boiling and cooling your water before use, can dramatically reduce plant stress and disease risk. Never underestimate the value of clean input water, especially when every harvest is essential. One of the biggest advantages of hydroponics in a crisis is that it's hidden. If you're growing food indoors, no one outside your home knows it's there. In a societal collapse where food becomes scarce and desperation sets in, an outdoor garden becomes a target. People will steal your crops, trample your beds, or worse. But an indoor hydroponic system in your basement or closet is invisible. It's secure. It's yours. You control who knows about it, and you control access. This isn't paranoia. It's reality. History shows us that when people are starving, they do desperate things. Protect your food supply by keeping it discreet. Let's talk about common mistakes so you can avoid them. First, over-fertilizing. More nutrients don't mean faster growth. They mean nutrient burn, where the roots get damaged and the leaves turn brown and crispy. Follow the instructions on your nutrient solution and start with a weaker concentration if you're unsure. You can always add more. Second, neglecting water quality. Chlorine and chloramine in tap water can harm beneficial bacteria and plant roots. Let your water sit out for 24 hours before using it, or use a dechlorinator. Third, poor air circulation. Stagnant air encourages mold, mildew, and pests. A small fan keeps the air moving and strengthens plant stems. Fourth, ignoring pests. Just because you're indoors doesn't mean you're safe from aphids, spider mites, or fungus gnats. Inspect your plants regularly and deal with problems early using organic methods like neem oil or insecticidal soap. Pests will eventually find you even indoors. Aphids arrive on new seedlings, spider mites hitch rides on your clothes or pets, and fungus gnats breed in wet-growing media. Prevention and observation are key. Rotate crops, start seeds in clean trays, and consider using sticky cards and organic sprays. Make your own from garlic or neem if bottled insecticides are gone. Quarantine any new plants and always wash your hands and tools. Urban folks often think an apartment is immune to pests, but bugs don't care about floor numbers or door locks. Now let's talk about seeds. In a long-term crisis, you need to think about seed sustainability. Buy heirloom, non-GMO seeds that you can save and replant. Hybrid seeds often don't produce viable offspring, meaning you can't harvest seeds from the plants you grow and expect them to grow again. Stock up on a variety of seeds for the crops you plan to grow, and store them in a cool, dry, dark place. Seeds can last for years if stored properly. Rotate your stock and test germination rates periodically to make sure they're still viable. Water is another consideration. Hydroponics is water efficient, but you still need a reliable source. If municipal water is unavailable, you'll need to collect rainwater, filter well water, or purify stored water. Make sure you have a method to test and adjust pH, as different water sources have different chemical compositions. Stockpile pH adjusters and extra nutrients so you're not caught short in an emergency. What happens if the power goes out? If you're running a system that requires electricity for pumps or lights, you need a backup plan. Solar panels with a battery bank can keep your lights and pumps running indefinitely. A small portable generator can provide power temporarily, but fuel is finite. The Kratky method, as mentioned earlier, requires no electricity and is the most resilient option for off-grid survival. You can also supplement with natural light if you have windows, though growth will be slower. Now, picture scaling up. What does food resilience look like in a full home crisis system? multiple stacked shelves, staggered planting dates, and a rhythm where harvest overlaps with planting. Each square foot matters. A simple closet garden with 4 LED panels can provide all the salad greens and herbs a small family eats in a week. Add in fruiting plants in larger containers, dwarf tomatoes, compact cucumbers, even bush beans. Each new cycle teaches better yield, more efficient space, and fewer failures. Let's talk about scaling up. Once you've mastered a small system, you can expand. Vertical towers allow you to grow dozens of plants in a single square foot of floor space. NFT systems, or nutrient film technique, use a shallow stream of nutrient solution flowing over roots, which is efficient and productive. Ebb and flow systems flood and drain periodically, giving roots access to both water and oxygen. Each method has pros and cons, but the key is to start simple, learn the fundamentals, and build from there. Include friends and neighbors only if you trust them. Loose lips in desperate times can mean lost food or worse. Quietly teach those closest to you who have shown reliability, and consider seed trading to build redundancy across your network. In past collapses, communities thrived or failed by whether they guarded or recklessly broadcast news of hidden food. So what about long-term sustainability? Hydroponics isn't bulletproof, but you can close many loops if you prepare. Save seeds every harvest, label and dry them carefully. Experiment with compost tea as a partial nutrient if commercial supplies run dry, though this can introduce risk and requires experience. Worm bins and black soldier fly bins can turn household waste into organic amendments, though it's messier than clean lab-ready nutrients. Rotating crops prevents disease and pest cycles from spiraling out of control. Harvest outer leaves often and keep plantings dense but not crowded, promoting airflow and maximizing yield. Always keep a journal. Note what worked, what failed, and what could be done better. In a time of stress, clear records beat faded memory every time. In deep survival, every calorie counts. Don't overlook high-calorie crops like potatoes and yams that can be grown hydroponically in buckets or large bins, provided you support the heavy vines and make sure the roots don't rot. This takes experimentation, but those who test now will have an edge when others must improvise under pressure. Hydroponics can also dovetail with other preparedness skills, combining with aquaponics, for example, to raise fish for protein and fertilizer, closing the nutrient loop. Even small goldfish tanks can supplement water and nutrition for your plants. Just remember, start simple, master the basics, and scale toward complexity as confidence grows. Hydroponics also gives you control over food safety. You know exactly what's going into your plants. No pesticides, no herbicides, no contamination. In a crisis, you can't trust external food sources. Even if stores reopen, you don't know where that food came from or what it's been exposed to. Growing your own food indoors means you control every variable. It's clean, it's safe, and it's yours. Waste not, want not. Every scrap matters when you can't buy more. Repurpose failed plants as animal feed or compost, reuse containers, and repair broken gear. In every historical famine, those who thrived hoarded not just food, but knowledge and creativity. Your indoor hydroponics becomes your classroom for that mindset. Think about the psychological benefits too. In a collapse scenario, having the ability to grow food gives you purpose, control, and hope. You're not just surviving, you're thriving. You're actively contributing to your own survival and the survival of those you care about. That mental resilience is just as important as the calories you're producing. Consider this. Are you mentally prepared for failed crops, power outages, or a cut-off supply chain? Have you role-played a week where all that's available is what you can grow and store? The greatest survival tool is adaptability. Systems like hydroponics let you pivot, experiment, and regroup with speed no soil garden can match. Some viewers still hesitate. Is this really worth the time? What's the alternative? Standing in panic-stricken lines for a handout? Betting that your government or city council will solve the food crisis in time? Real security never comes from hoping others rescue you. Food sovereignty is your responsibility, and the peace of mind from watching new leaves form, even as chaos reigns outside, is measurable. Here's the reality. Most people won't take this seriously until it's too late. They'll assume the grocery stores will always be there, that supply chains will always function, that someone else will solve the problem. But you know better. You understand that self-sufficiency isn't optional, it's essential. Growing food indoors using hydroponics is one of the most practical, scalable, and effective survival skills you can develop. It doesn't require land, it doesn't require perfect weather, and it doesn't require luck. It requires knowledge, preparation, and action. Let's wrap up with the hardest truth. When disaster hits, only those who prepared in advance will have time to care for their loved ones instead of standing in line, hoping. Hydroponics isn't theory, it's a safety net, a force multiplier, and a promise that you're taking responsibility for your own survival. Start now. Get a basic setup running. Grow your first batch of lettuce or herbs. Make mistakes, learn, and improve. Because when the crisis hits, you won't have time to learn. You'll only have time to execute. Even if all you do is sprout a handful of seeds on your windowsill this week, you've learned something 95% of people will never attempt until it's too late. And if you want to go deeper, you'll find in the pinned comment some guides and documents that can take your preparedness to the next level. Check them out when you're ready. Don't just survive. Build the skills that make survival inevitable. Like this video, share it with someone who needs to hear it. Comment below with what you're growing first, and subscribe because there's so much more to learn. Don't wait until hunger or panic pushes you to act. The clock is ticking. The world won't wait. But you can be ready.